I'm going to do a highlight reel, gente, of the fights this year. I think I want to get in the habit of doing that every single year. At the end of the year, the highlights of all the fights, the good, the bad, the ugly, who got dropped, who got knocked out, whatever. I think I'm going to do it at the end of the year. And I got some more fun stuff planned for December. I'm trying to bring my cuñado so we could do like a fun live where we're just, he likes to sing karaoke. Puros corridos pesados, norteñas, bandas, you name it. And I'm thinking of doing a karaoke live looking like a straight pendejo, I don't care, with one of these or maybe two of them in my hands and singing nothing but the hardest banda norteñas and corridos. I'm thinking of doing that. And then the beautiful, smoking, sexy, hot wife, she wants to do a giveaway for you guys. And so that's going to happen. And Miss chicanotube will join us for the giveaway. We'll just do movie line giveaway. We'll do name this, name that. We'll do some kind of, something fun. That's going to be for December as we go through the holidays. Are you set up, hermano?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because did it come up right there? Stream to your audience, that button?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Ándale. Oh, yeah, I see it on my side now. I see your little avatar, and it has a little link chain. Hermano, how are you?
Doing all right. Just chilling.
How's it been since the last time you've been on here? It's been a couple months or semanas. What's been going on in between?
Not much. It's same old same, just doing my little social media stuff. But
that's right.
I'm taking a break. You caught me in my break state, I guess.
Hibernation.
Yeah, I just decided to get off this, I think a lot of the times people don't really want to hear people like me, express myself or say whatever I need to say, or don't really understand my point of views. But it's fine, that's cool. But also, I think one of the things that I was seeing that on my social media, a lot of people were like, "Oh, you're like being negative," and I was like, "What the fuck? Like, how am I being negative? I'm solely responding to those that are consistently in my comment section harassing, the negative people, the people that have strong dislikes towards me and shit like that." So, and then on the other hand, the positive people would be like, "Yo, just keep on doing the nawat," and and just ignore all that negativity. And it's kind of like, well, what the fuck? Like, I'm not a circus monkey. You know what I mean? Like, I got opinions and feelings and etc. And I'm not just one thing, so to say.
No, see, well, I want to thank you for your content. I mean, you're coming up on 3K. I want to thank you for it. It is, like you said, it's for those that want it, and then the naysayers. There's always going to be bleachers making noise for the football game, but I appreciate it. That's why, hermano, the doors are always open. I appreciate you accepting the invitation again.
Yeah, of course. Just like I said, really nothing much has been going on other than just just being on this
journey,
regrouping myself, make a decision if I still want to continue doing social media, regardless of the little success that I might have had. But it's just kind of like,
I get you.
Let the new people come in, so to say, and let them represent, let them do whatever they feel is right, I guess, in their heart.
Nah, I feel you. Hermano, well, thank you for your content always. I'm subscribed, I'm following. Hermano, and did you see we had Wayward Son on the channel también? He was I think it was, you see Wayward?
Yeah, and I didn't see I just saw clips of it, And Wayward, he's a wise man, and he learns quick, and yeah, he's a cool dude,
He dropped the bomb about his great 4 generations up grandfather on the live, and he said he's only ever said it like another once or twice. And so he's went on, and we appreciate. I say that to say this: I appreciate, and Chicano Street, everyone in the comment section appreciate people that come on and give knowledge, because podcasts, I'm sure you know this already, are becoming like the true media.
Yeah,
other than they knock our streams down and they chingaderas that they do to us, but it's the true media. So, and people can
yeah.
know when people are speaking from the corazon like you.
I think a lot of the time it's because it gives an opportunity for those people that are like quote unquote voiceless in the mainstream media, like Hollywood, etc. You know,
Mm.
um, it gives an opportunity to people like myself and you to be able to discuss about topics, political topics, worldview topics,
History,
or
true
whatever. You
history.
know, social, yeah, social, social struggles, social
Mm.
issues, etc. You know, like it gives definitely an opportunity or a chance or a voice for those that are really kind of forgotten at at the at the city hall or whatever, within your own county or city or whatnot. So
Absolutely.
and it
No.
and it and it could be an inspirational thing too. I'll be like, yeah, yo, that guy is. I've seen him in my neighborhood, or I've seen he's from my own town, he's from my city, he's from my area. He's doing this thing, and then of course there's gonna always be envious people, that wouldn't want to see others succeed for whatever reason. And I was never really taught that to be envious of people. The only thing I'm really envious of someone is having a real father relationship. That's the
Mm.
only thing I'm ever envious. If I see another man having a great father and son relationship, that's the only shit I'm envious of in my life. But anything else like materialistic and all that shit, I'm not impressed. Like I don't.
In
I'm not.
Spanish, they say porque viniste de barrio humilde.
Yeah, like
So when
I
you
don't know,
come from
dog. Like
barrio humilde, the shiny shit don't impress.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Like I had an interview with Taboo from Black Eyed P a
Mm.
while back, and like like I'm a fan, but not like a real or like hardcore fan or whatever. Like, oh, you know what I mean? Like,
Right, right,
but
right.
to me, he was just a regular person, dog. Like, me valió madre of your
The record
success
sales, yeah,
and all that
the red
shit. Like, I'm
carpets.
just like, that's what's up. That's good for you. Like, I'm not
Yeah,
impressed with
yeah.
that shit, dog. Like, I'm trying to see who you are as a human being. You
Mm.
know, that's where I'm really at. I don't care what you have or what you've achieved or anything like that. It's where you're at as an individual in this current state as
And
we
we all
we're
have a
at.
journey, Keno.
What was that?
We all have a journey,
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
and they're different journeys. Each single story is written uniquely, ¿verdad?
yeah. Everybody has help, well, for sure, because everybody has different experiences
Mhm.
and just opportunities. You know what I mean? Like opportunities are presented to various types of people, and some are take advantage of it and succeed, and then others not so much. But
Hermano,
that's where I try to be. I
that's right.
try to see what's up with like what individuals are, what kind of where their hearts at. Are they
Mm.
for themselves or are they for their people? Are there like people that are willing to sacrifice for the benefit of their people or whatever? Just like try to be like selfless in essence.
That's
If you
right.
got
Golden
if you have
hearts.
extra food, would you offer? You know what I mean? If you have you know what I mean? Just being an
Absolutely.
overall a good human being.
That's right. That's right. And that's why to me it doesn't even matter like who you voted for, lo que sea, man. As long as you're not a dirtbag POS and that's what's more important. It's not who you penciled in on the ballot. But hermano, I appreciate you coming on one more time. I want to go ahead and ask you a couple questions, if I may. We'll try to
Yeah.
keep it confined and to a time. And I'm trying to get to chat. I don't even know if we're going to get to the chat. I'm trying to get to the phone lines. I don't know if we're going to get to the phone lines right now. It's the holiday season, hermano. I wanted to ask you. So in the United States, they got those 6, 7, 8 core holidays. They're nationally federal holidays recognized. In the cultura, as far as you know, did gente indígena have the same thing, but just like on different dates, like something in the fall, something in the winter, where there were certain occasions to commemorate? And if there were, what were they
Well,
about?
not all indigenous groups, you know, because I kind of would like, this may be an ignorant answer, but I feel like those that were a little bit more not I don't want to say the incorrect word, like civilized. Mm, Wait, nah, I'm gonna say this instead. For those
Modernized or
indigenous groups that weren't nomadic, that weren't moving to place, they knew about agricultural, you know, etc., about water and woo woo woo, you know, actually building a civilization, so to say. I feel like for those indigenous groups, yeah, of course they had like monthly festivals or monthly activities. It's, you know, but for the nomadic indigenous groups, I'm not really quite sure. I don't maybe not all of them, but yeah, there was most definitely, at least within Central Mexico, yeah, there were events.
and is it the same kind of holidays como cuando comienza un nuevo año on a certain calendar? Um, there was a figure, someone important that passed, and they're commemorating. Is it that kind of system? You know what I mean? Holiday calendars, y tienen todo pinche 4th of July, and then they have a New Year. Is it like that, or is it just different?
Nah,
Maybe
it was more
rituals.
kind of like religiously, you know, it was all symbolic and it had a purpose. You know, it was more of either reenacting stories of deities or goddesses, if you want to call them that. I know that a lot of people call them in different terms, but it was more of like a religious like type thing, you know, um, because there were certain events for unaliving people or whatever. Uh, you know, it's just it kind of depends, bro. You know what kind of event it was.
Mm.
But yeah, there were events. There was the new fire when the new spring would start. Obviously, the tiempo, like kind of like Dia de los Muertos. They have that going on. The time of the rain, when it's the raining season, you know, and stuff like that, or tiempo de frío in autumn or whatever. You know, they had events pretty much kind of like celebrating the seasonal rhythm of the world. You know, based on like I said, like deities and lords and gods, per to say, sort to say, you know, patreons and stuff like that. But it's it's difficult to really distinguish like, oh, esta fecha, you know, they did this, they did that, you know, because a lot of it was is fragmented. They didn't really have a in depth of how what really occurred, pretty much, you know, in those festive days or things of that nature.
Could
At
you
least
could you
within
just
Central Mexico.
what the rituals that took place? I mean, obviously, people see in the películas, hermano, you know, they're around a campfire, and I'm sure that's just that, you know, that community also being tight knit together as a people and as a tribe. But there was also rituals, to my understanding. And if there was rituals, what were the rituals for? Was it cuando querían agua, cuando era un hambriente, a famine, or as far as you know, these rituals,
Yeah,
y de qué son? Or what
you know what?
kinds
It's
were
different.
taking place?
Is I wish I can give you an answer, bro, but unfortunately, like you and I, we will never comprehend it. You know, like you right now just said it, like, what would they do it for rain and all this, you know? And
That's a
it
westernized view. I'm
yeah,
pretty
it's a
sure that's a
westernized
Western view.
thought. So it's to really capture the essence of those rituals or ceremonies. We wouldn't we, we wouldn't have the mindset that we've been taught to have since birth, dog. You know, even in Mexico, but like it's difficult to really say, bro. Like to really capture the essence of it, to get the understanding of it. You know, it has to be an understanding of life and a different point of view. You know, we look at it, things the way that we do because of because of technology, because of modern day politics, or religion or whatever. We are like distorted in some aspect. So I wish I can give you a definitive answer on that. Like,
Mm.
because I don't want to say, oh yeah, they did this because they wanted rain, or they did this because they wanted the sun, or whatever. I don't think that was the case. I think a lot of it was more along the lines like something very spiritual, something in depth that we never could, that we
Mm.
can't comprehend.
Maybe it's only for those that need to know. Not everything needs to be broadcasted. I said this before on a live today or yesterday. Not everything needs to take place in front of the cameras, cabrones. But I'm just asking these questions because, again, these are questions that I get asked, and people knew that you were coming on. I dropped the thumbnail. They were making fun of the thumbnail, hermano. They were saying that I look like the colonizer and that all kinds of comments. You know how
Yeah, I
it
know.
is, man. The good, the bad, the ugly. Hey, we welcome the comments, man. They help the algorithm. Hermano, we just passed Thanksgiving, and it was trending online. They were coming up with this. I don't know if it was counter Thanksgiving media, and they were calling it Thanks Killing. What is the what comes to your mind when that holiday comes around? Aquí en los Estados Unidos. That's my question.
Well, I want to say what happened to that indigenous group. That was actually a participant of the quote unquote first Thanksgiving, um, or that history of that. Like, it wasn't a unique thing only to them. It obviously occurred not in that. It was kind of partially unique to them in this essence of they had the gathering y todo.
Mm.
But what I'm trying to get at is like the whole genocide. You know what I mean? After that, that wasn't unique. But I don't know. Like,
Are you
for
okay
some,
with it, or are you trying to you put out counter stuff, or you don't care? It's like que me vale. It's just un pinche pavo. Lo
well,
vamos a cortar.
for me, I never really like to speak about indigenous groups from United States and Canada, or in
Ah,
fact anywhere else, but only within Central Mexico. I feel for I have condolences for them. I feel for them. But for the most part, like, it's like that. I have, I got shit to worry about my own self. Like, worry about my people, worry about the Nahua gente of Guerrero, or whatever. Like, I all I could really do is just like I said, I could feel for them, but to go all out to be an activist for them, nah, because they I never see that same energy in return when it comes to Mesoamerican indigenous people, and going even further south to Amazonian indigenous people, and on all of that. What I'm referring to the indigenous people of United States and Canada, they never really show uh, solidarity with Mesoamerican and beyond going south. Uh, some do, but not very many. And me and what I see a lot of fucking Mexican Americans that they go hard for that shit. They go hard for those people, but yet those people that they're going hard for, they never do anything in return for us. Like,
mm.
you know what I mean? So it's kind of like it's like the whole Palestinian thing, dog. Like, I feel for them, you know, but like, those
But
motherfuckers don't.
you ain't gonna tie yourself to a tree from.
No, the thing is that, like, it's like those Palestinian people don't even acknowledge or recognize Nawa people and their struggle and their genocide and their hardship and all this other shit. And like, how do you expect me to go all hard and with my energy towards your people that doesn't even know my people it possibly even exists? And we're like in the same, but our shit happened desde rato, desde chingo. But
Wayward Son was on the broadcast, and he said that there was a prophecy that he heard about northern and southern tribes eagle and condor prophecy. He called it about a unity because it does seem like, within the same razas, we kind of our own worst enemies. Is that what you were referring to as like the northern tribes that had roots in already North America and Canada, as opposed to the Mesoamerican ones that get the most attention?
Uh,
You're referring to that there's different groups, a northern and like the Mesoamerican tribes, and you're referring to northern tribes from from the top of the continent, right? U.S. and
yeah,
Canada.
yeah, I, yeah. I've heard about that, the eagle and the condor, but and it sounds beautiful and all, but I think a lot of the time is wishful thinking. I think it's in the aspect of we have a lot of barriers amongst ourselves, language barriers, cultural, uh, and whoop whoop. We have our differences, our different ethnic backgrounds, and we may have some similarities as well, but I think we're far from that, and I think in order for that to happen, we're literally gonna have to speak a foreign language, common foreign language, and the most spoken language as it is as of now is a Latin based language, Castellano. There's more indigenous people that speak Castellano than there is indigenous people that speak English and various other languages. So and I believe if in order for that whole eagle and condor thing to happen, and in order to be able to communicate amongst ourselves, the indigenous people from Chile all the way up to Canada or Alaska, uh, we would have to have a common language. And I think a lot of the times we're gonna be like, well, why it has to be a fucking foreigner language? But are you gonna speak Nahuatl? Are you gonna speak Lakota? Are you gonna speak Chumash? Are you gonna speak Cree? Like, are you gonna speak fucking Amazonia language? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
there's so many fucking languages out there, dog. Like as it is, obviously we were
hundreds.
forced upon us. It was forced upon indigenous people to learn Castellano over time. Even still, it's kind of like basically implemented now because you have to learn Spanish in quote unquote Latin America to be able to make work, to be able to have business, to be able to do anything within any Latin American country. Just like how we are here, in United States. We come
Mm,
from Latin countries, right? But we're here in the United States. We're obligated to learn English to be able to communicate amongst within this country, to be able to go to the hospital, be able to go to the store, be able to get a job, be able to do anything amongst this country. So we are obligated to learn English to do anything within it, right? So it's
right.
the same shit for Latin America. But rather than English, it's Spanish. We are forced on that. So I feel like I said, in order for that prophecy to come in, we have to be able to communicate amongst ourselves and then gradually be supportive among every indigenous group to achieve that unity. And whatever that unity may look like, I don't know. You know,
Mm.
maybe the unity is just be supportive of one another. We do have that. Like I said, we have that wishful thinking of like, oh, we're gonna get our land back. Fuck no.
Mm.
That shit's. We're not gonna get it back without blood. It was taken away by blood, dog. And to get it back, it's gonna cost blood. It's because in
I,
this world, bro, not every human being does the right thing. You know what I mean? Every majority, I think a lot of the time we're taught to be selfish in essence. Of
mm.
a moment of war, and a moment of something apocalyptic or natural disasters. You know what I mean? People are not thinking like, oh, I have this extra food. Maybe I should feed my neighbor or my whoever the fuck is there. A lot of time we're selfish as people. So to get land back, bro, is
Imagínate. Did you ever hear of those boarding school stories?
yeah, but that's not unique to United States or Canada, bro. La Doctrina started in Mexico, and the same shit as boarding school.
So those
It's the
boarding
same
schools
thing.
were also in the Mexico, because in a lot of in the U.S. they mostly talk about them here in este pinche
Well,
U.S. fucking
the
territory, but were
first
they in Mexico?
doctrina, aka boarding school, aka Christian Catholic schooling system, uh, uh, that education was created in Tenochtitlan by by Pedro Fraile de Gante. He was a Belgium, well, what is now known as Belgium. He was a Belgian missionary, and he created the first boarding school, and it happened in Tenochtitlan. And because of this system that he created, a lot of more it was adapted, maybe even improved or in some shape in their eyes, but it stretched out all the way, all of Latin America and United States and Canada. So that you know that's that experience is not unique to just indigenous people of United States, bro. In Mexico, I forgot what year it was, and there was this church, a Catholic church or a Christian church, I don't know, one or the other. But they found like 500 to 1,000 infant or kids bones under this church, indigenous kids. You know what I mean? And this is within quote unquote Mesoamerica. I forgot what year it was. It was, I don't know, late 2000s or
In what
maybe early
region?
2010s.
What
Huh?
region was that?
It was in Mexico. That I'm
Okay,
first. Without a doubt, and I want to say that it was probably like somewhere in Guadalajara or
oh, the central
somewhere
region.
around there. Somewhere
About
in
the
that region,
central.
dog. It
Mm.
wasn't in Sonora or Chihuahua. It was like it was in Mesoamerican territory, so to say.
So because they
So
landed in Mexico, it only makes sense that those pinchy boarding schools started in Mexico. Is that what you're
yeah,
saying?
maybe even in fucking the Caribbean, bro. They were there first before they got to Mexico. So who knows, dog?
Con los
I don't know the history
jamaicanos,
over there.
con los
I don't know the
haitanos,
history.
jamaicanos.
I don't know the history of the Arawaka. I think I'm saying it right or wrong, but I don't know. Arawa, uh,
Yeah.
Taino people, dog. Arawak or some shit. I fucking forgot. But who knows? Maybe they had boarding schools there too. But I don't. I before Mexico ever did. But I know that it was in Mexico. It was created by that Pedro de Gante, which
Mm,
my last name comes from that fool.
Gantes.
Gantes. My last name comes from that fucking missionary because he would have give his last name to only males, uh, and those males were all of his participants in his doctrina
Sí.
were no asked Mexica nobility.
Mm.
The children of Mexica nobility, the brightest ones, the intelligent ones, or whatever, según. And my ancestor adopted that last name from that vato.
What
So
did you hear that took place? What would happen? Como si fuck, like they disobeyed the. I heard that they would starve them if they didn't send the children there, and that's fucked up if that's true. Did you hear of any kind of certain things that would happen as
well,
a
one of the one of
consequence
I don't
for
one of
revolting, rebelling, or not complying?
yeah. I mean, I don't. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but if they use such tactics, or methods.
Mm.
But I do know that Freyer guy, Pedro de Gante, he pretty much fucking like held 1,000 indigenous nobility Mexica kids from from their families, dog. He had 1,000 around, yeah, like 1,000 kids within this building. They weren't able to come outside of it at all whatsoever, not see their parents, no nothing, have no contact whatsoever with the indigenous population. But I know that he pretty much held hostage those kids, dog. However you want to, I know he had them, and the reason why he did this method, that the reason his reason to do this method was because a lot of the kids before that, before that 1,000 one, he started with 50 kids, and he noticed that a lot of them still practice, like I guess what we see it as
Indigenous
graphic,
culture.
yeah, graphic indigenous culture. And so he thought like, what would happen if I was to pretty much take the youngest kids and keep them away from their people and their families and let them learn Spanish and then woo woo woo. So he kind of like experimented with that to try to keep them from participating in Mesoamerican culture.
Damn.
So I know that happened in, because of the research that I've done.
Mm.
I was honestly trying to look for the list of fucking indoctrinated indigenous men by Frayer, but it's not a public
Document.
information. Yeah, I would have to go to Mexico and really fucking dig in the archives.
You know what?
But
Wayward Son came on the channel, carnal, and he said, like you were saying, they put last names on and stuff like that. And he said, basically, most of the raza has slave last names because they don't have their original last names. Do you think that statement is true?
I
That
don't know
if
about
we have a
slave.
European last name, we have a
I don't
slave
think
name?
I don't think to all indigenous people. I mean, indigenous people of nobility, they never had that kind of treatment at first. You know what I mean? Like, I feel because there's last names like Reyes. Reyes is the last name that was commonly used by indigenous people, Nawa indigenous people that came from like various nobility, dog. Whatever that nobility title means, I'm not sure, But people that I guess had high status
Status.
in amongst their little group, the group, So or some of them also adopted their surnames because of doctrinations, you know.
And not all of them were forced. Pinchi. O sea, there was people that were like not all was forced on some people. O sea, some people had mutual, right? O sea, the people were intermingling, right?
Yeah,
And so not everyone was forced, but some relationships happened naturally, I guess, or what do you want to call it? Consenting, Lee, if that makes
yeah.
sense.
Some.
So if she
I don't know
liked
how
the dude
much.
and whatever his last name was, then it's a
I
different
don't know.
trade off. Or
I don't know in how much. A lot of it was like, I guess, in somewhat what would be considered as a blessing. Like, oh, I'm giving you my last name. I'm blessing you with my last name or some bullshit. Just like how people give nicknames to other homies, or etc. But
mm,
I don't know, bro. Like, I can't say that every indigenous person experienced that of consent of being consent of the last name of a
mm.
surname. But yeah, man, maybe people just, I don't know. It's difficult to say that. You
Okay,
know,
no, absolutely. I'm gonna ask you a question. It says, "Does Kiawi dislike the?" I mean, I'm reading it just the way it's written. Dislike the Mexica people
no, that's
for
chi,
for
mechica. That's what that fool wrote
Mechi
right now.
Mechi for overtaking his ancestors' tribe. His tribe from Guerrero weren't Mexica originally. True or false?
There were Nahua people, you know, there were Nahua people for sure, and then the indigenous people that were there, they had similar ideologies of those of Tenochtitlan. So it wasn't it wasn't even a battle, bro. To be honest, it was more of like a consent thing. It was more of a
Mm,
consent thing and just an agreement. So
mm.
that's what it all was. And in fact, and in fact, I recently in my current studies, I came to as doing research on Pedro de Gante, that missionary.
Yeah,
I came to realize that this mother flower came to my region where my family's from, And there's a town that has is a it's a town that has a lot of history, which I'm like right next to. My pueblito is right next to them, and this
they were
history,
planting churches.
yeah. So, but the thing about this is, in this town, I guess it was called Tepequa Tepequa Quilco, Tepequa Quilco, and and it comes from Tepet, meaning the mountain. A lot of the cities were called Tepet,
Mm.
and then it has Coaquili, Tecuaquili. So it's like, and it got compounded together. It got put together to make Tepecuacuilco. The suffix "co" is just a locative, in and at. But the interesting thing about that word is it's basically Tecuaquili is an indigenous person, like a priest. And was crazy was what I think is fascinating to me about this is that title Tecuaquili, it was for indigenous priests or indigenous people that had dreadlocks,
Mm.
and the dreadlocks was like a symbol of something special about this individual that practiced like spirituality that I can't comprehend, to be honest with you. But I know that this title, it was it's a real thing. And uh, the other word is that goes along with Tecuacuilco, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm saying it right or wrong, is it's papait, which also describes the dreadlocks. So I'm still trying to figure out that story. What's up with that? I'm trying to still. It's something that I recently like discovered, and I'm like, what the fuck? Just kind of like tripping out on that. I was like,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
it was, but yeah, my region, they they had like minded ideas as from Tenochtitlan, dog. Like, so it wasn't even like a congregation. It was more of a consent. Like, all right, I mean, fuck you guys are Nahuas, and we think the same shit. Except you guys call your shit Huitzilopochtli, we call ourselves Titlat Tochtli. Like, but it's the same deity or the same
Mm.
creator or however you want to call it. But
And those are differences that were probably always used to go to war against each other, right? Tribe against tribe. It's been a lot of tribalism, well, since the beginning of time, right?
yeah, for whatever, I don't know if this is true either.
Dime,
I don't know
cabrón.
if this is true.
Dime.
And people are gonna be like, "Oh, that fool's just saying that shit, but being biased." And maybe I am, but I've heard that a lot of the Tlatoanis, the emperors or the rulers or the speaker
Yeah.
of the Mexicas, came from not my region, but they came from Guerrero and Morelos, like that region, that area. A lot of the Tlatoani actually came from that region and became the emperors of the Mexica. Disque, pues, I don't know. I don't take that as a grain of salt. You know what I mean? It's
Disque.
just some shit that I've heard.
You know what people always want to know? They always want to ask that, hermano. Who is the fiercest? Which tribe had the most fiercest warriors? Which ones were they? And I don't even know if I've ever asked you that question, because they see images with gente that have leopard skins. They see eagle skins. They've heard of stories of different societies that these were the assassins, the killers. And they ask that because then they try to research to see if their roots are come from that region or
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
tribe that is. So let me ask you this. As far as you know, which one in all time, I mean, any century or in general, I guess let me just say it in general, were the fiercest warriors from which tribe? Which were the ones that once you knew, damn, these ones right here,
Yeah, yeah.
we can't get them.
I'm gonna say when we think of warrior, we kind of like think of like, oh, somebody that's like bloodthirsty in the essence of murdering or slaying and things of that nature. In Mesoamerica, that wasn't the culture to matar, to kill in the time of war or in the time of conflict or whatever.
Mhm.
But what they were more focused on was capturing. You know, yeah, they will injure you or hinder you so much that you won't be able to run anymore. You won't be able to swing your weapon or whatever. But you were still alive and captured. You know, that was the true thing. So and here's the reason why. So when we think of a sword, right, like an actual sword, right, like a metal sword,
See,
double sided blade, and wooty woo, like we think of slashing, sauce, you know, we think of slashing with that
como un
shit, trying to
machete.
fucking, trying to fucking penetrate you with the tip of the metal sword. But the maquili, obviously, it's a wooden club with various shreds of obsidians on the side, on both sides. Though they are swinging the weapon towards their enemy or whoever they are conflicted with, they weren't necessarily trying to go through them. They're trying to like shred through their arms, so they wouldn't necessarily like hit you like a como how we think of a fucking sword.
A knockout
They
hit,
would they
yeah.
would try to get you in essence and trying to like hook you in essence to hinder you to rip like muscles, so you won't be able to swing anymore. You won't be able to run. Like I said, they would do these kind of things, so they would shred and like trying to hook you towards it or like pour it towards you, but they wouldn't necessarily trying to like cut through you and like in pieces because they wanted to capture you. They wanted to bring you home in essence because that's what was seen to be a warrior. That was a warrior, somebody that was able to capture their enemies, which is fucking a shame at those times, being captured. That's still a shame even to this day. So yeah, it wasn't a weapon to in the essence of like a metal sword that we think of in how to use it, right? It was definitely a weapon to hinder you. It was a deadly weapon in that aspect,
A
so
pinchy club with obsidian?
yeah,
Imagine you get hit, even if it
and
just
then
grazed your arm. Say you had a tattoo all in the arm. That un pinche, it'll leave un pinche parche of skin lifted, and they did that strategically to kind of torture the people, o sea, disable them little by little instead of going for a knockout blow.
yeah, because they're trying to keep them alive and they're trying to capture them, So
Yeah, what
it
do they do?
wasn't.
To turn them into slaves sometimes
Yeah,
or
there were
sell.
slaves. There were slaves, but it wasn't the slaves like how we think of like how like in essence of like how United States treated the African American people within the United States. Not that kind of type of slaves.
But both aren't both groups doing the same shit though? Just hard labor or whatever. I mean, they don't belong to them. They don't belong to themselves. They belong
Nah.
to people.
The
What's
thing,
the difference in the slaves and
I
in
think,
those days
I
and
think a lot of the differences was that they were able to fucking be free. Pretty much
go
they could
home
live
at
their
the end of the
life. They
day?
could live their life.
Oh,
They
okay.
could live. They fucking have a family. They can have a shack or some shit. You
Okay.
know,
Well,
pero whenever their quote unquote owner or somebody that the slave owner of that indigenous person that is also indigenous, he kind of had him like kind of like a butler type status. Go do this, go do that, go give me this, in this aspect. But it was like a weird slavery mentality, dog. It wasn't like how como te dirían, like I said, like
westernized or the way we understand it today in
yeah,
2024
it
with the
wasn't.
Western,
It's como
it's just like a class of
if I
people.
was to give you, let's say, and I'm trying to put it in like the way now. We live in a small ass village, me and you or whatever, or a small ass community, and I had the eligibility to give you a house, give you land to work on or whatever, and you're probably gonna be like, hell yeah, you probably would agree with that, if you were in that time, and you would be accepting, but I'm always still watching over you, still like, yo, plant this, grow this. All the shit that you're yielding is gonna be mine. You can keep a little bit of it, and you're just kind of working for me in essence, But you're basically kind of like my slave, dog. Because I've given you things, but now you have to repay that until I feel like I am satisfied that you had paid that debt. Then that's the time when that you are free in essence. that you're no longer
Chingo.
my slave.
Okay, that makes
So
sense. You know what? Someone asked me one time. I don't know how much, if you know anything about this, but did tribes, indigenous tribes from, again, in general, I'm not specifying centuries, pre-colonization, post-colonization, but in general, as far as you know, did they have African slaves
in Mesoamerica, nah. In Mesoamerica, no way.
in any
Not to my
region
knowledge.
and any time segment? There weren't
There
Africans.
there was Native American groups that did have slaves within the United States, but in Mesoamerica, Mexico, what is now known as Mexico, I don't think that was a thing.
So that happened in certain islands.
Oh, that
And then
happened in the
obviously it
United
got to the
States. I don't
United
know if it
States.
happened in the Caribbean. I don't know if it happened in anywhere in what we know now as Latin America, but I know that it happened in the United States. At least what I've
But
seen.
what about the other countries that obviously you could tell, por las razas intermingling, they have the same features? I mean, pretty much you can, I mean, isn't that a given that there was posts there for selling and trading and toda la chingada?
I don't know, bro. I know that there was slavery in Mexico and stuff like that, but to say that it was like a exact method as how the English people treat, or the English and French people of the United States treated the African slaves, I don't know to what extent the similarities are,
Mhm.
but I also know that there were black conquistadores. So ironically,
Wait. You're saying amongst the cavalry of the Spanish
amongst the Spanish
conquistadores.
people, there were black conquistadores. Not many, but there are. You see, I forgot what codex had a depiction of that, showing the black slaves, but also showing a black conquistador riding along with the other white conquistador, and then having an indigenous person behind, carrying material and the methods that the indigenous people did at the time. There was black conquistadores for sure.
So you think like a select few they made a noble, or the select few they let climb through the ranks of the military or get a little bit of higher
Well, who
status in
knows? I don't know,
society.
bro. Maybe that motherfucker was just born within Spain, and who knows?
And he's Spanish for them.
Yeah, I can't really say much for that, but there was that.
Call from.
Caller, are you there?
To
Chicano too?
accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Let me see. I'm trying. Let me see. Caller, can you hear me?
Yeah, it's okay.
I don't know if the people can hear you. My bad.
I don't.
You
Yeah,
didn't hear
I
anything?
can't. I can't hear him, bro. Like, well, I
Okay,
can
yeah,
hear
man.
him, but it sounds all distorted.
I get you. Hold on. We got the Scarlet output, MacBook
Can
Pro
you hear me?
speakers.
Drinking water. Hey, I can't hear you now, fool. Vato's phone is tripping. Serio, pedo. I know. I don't know if you. I can't hear you, brother. No te escucho, mano. Or is it me? Nah, my mic is looking like it's working.
1 2 1 2. Can you hear me,
¿Qué más?
hermano?
Yeah,
You can hear me?
yeah.
Oh, good, hermano. Let me ask you
You
this, because
you
last
sound the
time,
same. Jotolón.
stay away. Let me ask you this, cabron. Last time I asked you about if it's possible that there could exist an indigenous Barbie.
Indigenous
And
what?
an indigenous Barbie, that means, is there possible that a blonde hair, blue eyed, one looking Barbie could be 100% indigenous?
I, I, I don't think there is.
Blue eye,
I don't.
green eye, blonde hair.
Maybe there's a very, very, very slim chance. Like, like I'm talking about very, very. But from my understanding, is that blue eye color people actually come from one single ancestor that had this eye mutation. So if you have blue eyes, and then you meet another blue eyed person and you marry or have kids with them and all that shit, you guys all share the same ancestor that had that eye
Blue eyes.
mutation. So you're dating your like long lost fucking familia.
Stop.
So if an indigenous person had blue eyes and then like it's not, and then it's just only that known information of blue eyes, because it is possible for a new person to attain this colored eye mutation, of the color blue eyes. It is possible, but
But you're saying that it has to be a mix somewhere in the blood.
yeah, in order for that to happen, because there was already mixing in Europe, and they were already mixing in Africa, they were already mixing in Asia and all that shit.
So you never heard of
Way
any
before-
tribe at all, when they're around the camp? You never heard of any tribe at all, pues teniendo alguien that had colored eyes?
I mean, albinoism and shit, but that's a different thing. You
Okay.
could have albino, full-blooded albino indigenous person. Now I don't really comprehend that very well, so I can't really comment on that. But I know that I know that it could happen.
I think I'm gonna try one other thing on the phone lines. So I'm gonna put the banner back up.
Indigenous to basket.
¿Qué están diciendo? ¿Qué están diciendo los cabrones? Oh man, it's because I thought about it and I'm like, well, wasn't there ever anyone que tenía blue eye, green eyes, or is that something that was? It had to be from Europe, so there was never a tribe that had una niña with green eyes.
Because of the mixing, bro. Because of the mixing, in order to if you're mixing different quote unquote race or people of different regions just happen to fucking meet somewhere, and then they start to intertwine and mix and woo. Now you're gonna have different characteristics, and then mutations could occur. Mutations still can occur even among single people, but it's a super rarity. It's still rare to have these mutated genetics or whatever, but it rises even more when you start to mixing shit. That's what I'm saying. Like when you mix when you mix animals, like they get different characteristics of different, of their primary parent or whatnot. Like
Oh yeah,
fucking ligers, like ligers, they have, they get their characteristics from bullshit, but it's a mutation, and now they have a distinctive animal.
hold on, hermano. We got a call coming in right now. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Caller, you're live on Chicano Street. What you got to say?
Yo, what's up, man? Hey, have you heard MC Abdul Let It Rain? That shit fucking hits.
What's that?
I recommend you listen to that, bro.
It's a podcast or what? Say it again.
I said I recommend you listen to MC Abdul. He's a rapper from Gaza, Palestine. He's hella good at rapping, bro.
Hey, well, I appreciate the call,
He raps
cabron.
about real shit.
I appreciate that recommendation, cabron. Stay tuned.
Yo, Amps.
Ándale, cuídate.
Right, bro.
All right,
You too. Bye.
So indigenous people, what we know as the Americas, that there was
Never heard of
no
that.
There weren't. It was just indigenous people, dog. Like there wasn't.
Or would it be like
mix.
the movie Me, Myself, and Irene, where if the kid came out con ojos azules, who's the daddy? I guess. Caller, you're live on Chicano Street. What you got to say?
Hey, man, how you guys doing?
Hey, buenas noches.
So what's up? What are you guys talking about?
Man, we're talking about cultura, history, or ask if anyone has any kind of questions. We're opening it up just for opinions. You know how we do on Chicano Street.
Yeah. Yeah, this is actually, something I, gonna deal with, I think. Nowadays, when you go apply for jobs, right? You have to put all your info, right? And sometimes now they be doing background checks on your like social media, And if they see you're involved or advocate like pro for the Native Americans and stuff or cultura, like it can affect your work. So, I just recommend people be careful because it's ruined my life, man. I can't even get a job. People will be wanting to attack me at my jobs, So just be careful with that stuff.
No, I appreciate you saying that, and I don't know if you want to give out anything more, but is it you were going hard on?
Yeah, just going hard on like in my past, when Donald Trump was going to presidency and saying shit about Mexicans, it kind of ticked me off. So I gave my 2 cents on a social media platform on YouTube, news and stuff. And when you do those public comments, man, that shit sticks with you forever because that shit was a long time ago, but it still affects me till today. Because nowadays, bro, it's just facts. Like when you go to a job, they want to know who you are, and one way they can do that is by checking your background. Whatever you have of data out there, or criminal background check, and now they even do that social media background check. So be careful, man, because if you're an advocate for indigenous stuff, some people might when you go apply to Petco, the people there might not like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's speaking facts too. No, I appreciate you telling us that.
No,
Put us up on game.
I haven't even been able to get a job, man, because of this reason. Because they'd be like, this guy is over here.
Well, I think they're violating your rights, dog, to be able to
indigenous people, bro, and it's such because at the end of the day, bro, my purpose was to try to uplift. For what I saw, people just always feeling like, it always seems like a negative thing when we talk about like Hispanics or Mexicans. Always been that little awkwardness, I guess. I don't know, when it comes to our place here in society. You know what I mean? The United States and
Orale, man.
No, what do you guys think? I mean, what do you guys think?
No. It's true, but what I think is we have to stay away from censorship as much as possible because if people,
you gotta be careful, man, because it can really mess with your life. I wouldn't think, comments or things I did in my own private time would affect my life. Getting a job. You know what I mean? Like now I feel like I have to just start my own business. I can't even go out there to apply because when you go apply, you're submitting yourself to, giving all your information, and then they just look you up. You know what I mean? If they see stuff they don't, from your past, even if you delete your stuff, man, it's still out there. The data's still out there.
That's right.
Yeah, just be careful because that can really. It's honestly, I feel I only last a week at a job, and I have to jump onto another job because they find out. They find out, and then they say, "Oh man, it just doesn't feel good at the jobs, and you don't want to feel like that at your job every day. Feeling like that, and you just feel like a target, So you gotta be careful, guys.
That's right. I appreciate
social media is really, but like it's tough, man. It sucks that we have to be, this whole thing about culture. I wish we all could just be one raza, right?
Hey, I appreciate the call, carnal. We're going to get to another call. Gracias for tuning in,
All right, carnal.
Cuídate mucho. Kiyahuitl, I'm going to ask you that question that's on the screen right there. Kiyahuitl, I have a question for you. Before the Treaty of Hidalgo, weren't all the Americas Native Americans part of Mexico?
It was worded wrong, but
But
I
you,
kind of think,
but you know
yeah,
what I mean. The northern
yeah,
tribes.
Those
Okay,
southern western Native Americans would have been considered to be Mexicans, you know, but amongst themselves, they probably didn't think that we're not, you know, just like how I am, just like how you feel right now, you know, too, Mikey.
see,
Like yeah, we live in the United States and shit like that. We sí nos sentimos un poco algo americanos, pero we're just like in a nationalistic aspect, we know damn well, at least for me, I can speak for that. I like, even though I have that identity of being a United States American, you know, my heart is at Mexico. You know, my heart is over there. But within my countryside of Mexico, and it's
that's
not so
right.
much of the political aspect of it, but now, like, knowing myself and knowing my background, knowing everything, I embrace that more so than being Mexican. So that's what I'm trying to get at with
Caller,
that.
you're live on Chicano Street. What you got to say?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Buenas noches, Mikey. Buenas noches, Kiyahuitl. It's risky business, bro.
Saludos, way.
What's up? What's up?
Buenas noches.
What's
Hey,
up,
fool, I want
Mikey?
to
I
say,
got a
like, I
question
don't know if you can hear
for
me, but I just
Kiyahuitl
want to
real
say,
quick.
I want to say this real quick, Riz. God damn, bro, you all over fucking social media, dog. You should start doing content yourself.
Who are you talking about?
You.
Oh, yeah. You might not like my
I
content
see
though,
I
'cause
see
my
you I
content's
see
about Mexico.
you everywhere, dog.
I
I
see you
saw you
everywhere
on
too, bro.
what live it was. I was like, God damn, fool, this motherfucker's everywhere in every fucking spot.
Yeah, you need to get an IG. Way I told you about getting an IG.
That fool was just all
Yeah,
over the
maybe
place,
next year
dog.
I'll
Like,
open
might as
it
well
up.
just come up with some shit for yourself, dog. You know,
You got a question,
you're
cabron.
obviously
Let's go ahead.
active on
Let's
the
go ahead and
comment
hear it. What you got
sections
to say?
and
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
your
I just want to, just for clarity for myself and everybody on the chat, where does Kiyahuitl's hate or dislike for Mexico and Mexicanos, I'll call them mestizos, come from? Where does that stem from, way? Real quick.
I'm not really comprehending his question right, but ask it again.
You want me to ask it again?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where does your dislike for Mexico or mestizos stem from? Right? Because the reason I'm asking that is because you tend to, like, the people that identify as mestizos, right, such as myself, which is a valid um, uh, people, right? Why? Because, for example, myself, just by looking at my father, I can see the Spaniard side in him, and by looking at my mother, right, I can see the indigenous side. So we can't deny that, right? Me myself, I can't deny that, right?
Yeah.
But where does your dislike for people such as myself, right, or Mexico stem from?
I don't have a problem with mixed people, though. Like, I don't know if that I don't have a problem. I don't have hate for any mixed person, though. Like, and it's ironic because I do have some mixture of my own, but regardless, I'm 3/4 indigenous, you know, and even if I am mixed, you know, which I am with Spanish and various other little things, you know, but I'm primarily indigenous, and then it's vividly, you can see it in my face, my skin, my hair,
Simon.
maybe, you know, and everything, you know. So my experience won't be as someone like your experience that has you're in between of being indigenous, in between of being uh European or whatever, you know, whatever your mixture may be. Your experience is going to be different, of course, but it's always going to be different from my experience. And
Right.
and I couldn't help to think those people that are closer to whiteness or pure, quote unquote, purity to whiteness, their treatment is always going to be a little bit more better or seen or a little bit more better of against those that have dark melanation and or un-European beauty standard generate. Is their experience is gonna be different, bro. And the reason why I'm saying this is, for me, I don't have hatred for mixture people, but how do you like? I'm trying to give it a simplistic answer. When people mistreat animals, let's say for a dog, that dog either is going to be an aggressive dog towards either his towards humans or its handler, or that dog is going to like break and become fearful and have its own traumas, right? So, and I
Right.
think a lot of the times for indigenous people, a lot of people they tend to fucking break. They tend to be fearful. And me, I'm not fearful. I'm I want to inspire people of my predicament. I want to wake up those people that are bronze, real brown. I want to wake up those people and to say, "Ya basta, güey." Like, I'm tired of seeing the belittlement, the discrimination, and whoop whoop. I want to
Yeah.
I want to inspire those little kids that are called negro or they're called black. They're dark ones. Woo woo woo. The ones that are at the
Simón.
end of the bad stick. That's who I want to be an inspiration. I don't want to be an inspiration for people pretty much that are in the other side of the grass. They're on the better treatment aspect. When the fuck have you ever been? When have you ever seen a güerito be mistreated an aspect like, él es güerito, like, you know, not in the same aspect as, es prieto, you don't. It's just the reciprocation of that is way fucking different. It's way different, and people, those light skinned people, regardless if they try to be like, I get fucking shunned because I'm white, but maybe if you're surrounded by fucking dark people around you, yeah, pero
Or a gavacho
no,
that grows up in the barrio. But Risky, where did you get that notion that Kiahui has something against Mexico?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
Mexico.
Well, every time he speaks about Mexico or about a gente mestiza, right, or about even the Spanish language, it's like it's in a with a bad sentiment, right? So I can read between the lines pretty damn well, right? And what's understood doesn't need to be explained, right? So that's why I asked that question. And
I
the
get
reason
it.
that I asked that question, is because um, it's fucked up. It's fucked up to a person as like myself, because I'm getting it from both ends, right? So I'm getting it from an indigenous person saying, "Hey, wait, ¿por qué estás hablando español? That's not our language." And then I'm getting it from an American saying, "Why are you speaking Spanish? This is America. We speak English here. So in essence, right? And this is the point that I'm trying to raise. Uh, but in your delivery, Kiawi, you're coming across as that person that you dislike yourself, because just like I explained, you're going to tell me, oh, no, Castellano. Like, even by saying Spanish, fool, like, look, let me correct you on something really quick. Castellano is spoken in Spain. That's their tongue right now, right? In Spanish, in Mexico, we speak Spanish way. The Spanish derived from Castellano, sure, it does. But over, 400 or 500 years, That shit is not Castellano no more. But you say Castellano to belittle our language. And that's where I get the bad sentiment, right? Because that's how you speak about Mexico, about mestizos. And myself, like I said, I'm a mestizo, güey. What do you want me to do? You know? Orgullosamente mexicano. I was born in Mexico. Mi gente es de Mexico, güey. My customs son de Mexico. It just so happens that I live 30 minutes north of the Rio, right? That's it.
Yeah. Okay. Let me tell you this. The word or the term, "Oh, you speak Spanish." Where do you think that came from?
The word what?
The word "Oh, you speak Spanish." Where do you think that came from? That term. Why do we use that term?
I don't get your question.
Who invented that term? Oh, you speak
Spanish?
Spanish, or do your language is Spanish? Who invented that? Who invented that? Who said that?
I don't know. I don't know who. Enlighten me.
English speaking people from the United States invented that term, that terminology, because they were fucking ignorant to understand that the whole world knows Spanish, or what we know as Spanish as Castellano. The whole world knows the language as such. And even regardless if we speak a variation of Castellano, it's still Castellano. Just like how
it's actually not,
just
bro.
like just how like that.
It's
Calo,
a different
just
tongue.
like how Calo,
It's a
right?
different tongue.
No, but just like how Calo is. Calo, regardless, yeah, it may be a slang terminology of a various way to communicate. It's still rooted within Castellano. So
if you put a person from Spain and a person from Mexico, way right now in current time, though the language is similar, is not the same language, bro. You know that. Come on, you read.
It's still rooted to Castellano, bro. And then
Castellano is rooted
to, and then Castellano is rooted to Latin, so even French.
Right.
And then
that's what I said.
What other
that's what
Portuguese.
I said. It stems from there.
They're all stem from the same. They all stem from the same thing, you know. So regardless if we speak a different, regardless if we have a different variation of a Castellano language, it's still Castellano. Just like how Nahuatl has different variants, though we do give them different names, but in regardless,
it's not Castellano. It's not Castellano. It's Spanish. Yeah, and I think I would know more about that because I go to Mexico pretty often. I think the last time you went to Mexico, you were 9 years old. You said, right?
Correct.
But look, check it out.
Wrap it up, Risky. Wrap it up, cabron. And he's been holding on to this. I don't know how long. I think he wants to get it off his chest. Get it off your chest, way.
Yeah, no. Look, this is another observation that I made. Right? Look, I want to ask Kiyahuitl what he really identifies himself at and who he is truly. Because look, if a Mexicano calls Kiyahuitl Mexicano, he's gonna say he's Indigena, right? And if an American calls him Indigena, he's gonna say he's American. But if a Chicano calls him Mexican, he's gonna say that he's neither. So what are you, bro? At the end of the day, what are you? Y no te lo pregunto de mamón, güey. At the end of the day, it's just a conversation. But I do want to know, where you're coming from. Because you can't be all three, bro.
If an American person from the United States calls me Indigena, then I have done a lot of work in various other indigenous people that identify as Indigena, because that is that's a crazy recognition. Because most of them would see me as just as Mexican or even just Native American. So, but what I've always identified, I've always said it, nationalistic, I consider myself Mexican American as a national identity. Because it's not based on race.
So fuck all that. No. Fuck all that. Who are you, wait? No.
It's not based on
nationalistic, racially, culturally. Who are you?
I'm getting that to the point.
Because it don't matter who from what race asks me. I'm gonna say soy mexicano, way. I'm not gonna say anything else. I'm gonna say soy mexicano.
But that's not a race. That's just a national identity, bro.
That's who I am. That's why I'm asking you, who are you? What's your culture?
You're a Mexican nationalist. And then
hell yeah, I am.
And then it's not any different from an American United States nationalist. Just so you know that.
Yeah, pero tú haces
And
lo
being a
mismo, güey,
Mexican
when you tell us not to
nationalist
speak
is
Spanish.
overlooking the ethnic backgrounds of indigenous people within Mexico. So
Okay,
you're not really being, you're
look,
being, ¿cómo te
look, I'm gonna
diría?
get,
You're just
look,
doing the
I'm gonna get
colonizer's
up the
work to
line.
the essence.
Gracias, guy. We got other calls. Come on, give me 30 seconds, cabron.
I'm gonna end it with this. Look, Kiyahuitl, ask yourself this, bro. Hypothetically speaking, and I'm gonna say, God forbid, just for the conversation, right? But God forbid that you find yourself, in a bad situation, and the only person to help you is gonna be a Mexicano or a white person. Are you gonna take the help, or are you gonna not take the help? And vice versa. If there's a Mexicano or if there's a white person that could use, let's just say, one of your organs, right, and you would save that person, would you do it or you wouldn't?
I'm always
I
down
kind of,
for
yeah, I think it went to the side a little on the train of thought. I'm not, now you're talking about organ donating, but again, say that one more time. The last
Yeah.
statement of the night, Risky. Say it one more time, and that's the last statement of the night, and I'm gonna have him answer it, and then we'll get to the next call. Dilo otra vez.
Yeah. So let's say that you're that you need help, right, for whatever reason, and the only person to help you, whether it be health wise, right? But I don't want to put scenarios out there because I don't want to put no shit in the air. You know what I mean? So let's just say you need help, and the only person to help you, right, to maybe save your life, let's just say it, is a white person. Would you take that help, or would you not? And vice versa, if you could help that person, health wise, would you or would you not? That's it.
As I stated in the beginning of this interview, I stated that I look for people's humanity. I look for people's who they are, where their heart's at, what kind of individual they are. Are they selfish or selfless? I said that in the beginning. And what I practice is try to be a good human being, no matter if that person is white, black, Asian. If I see something that I find to be injustice and that I can contribute in assisting and whatever it may be, then I would. Depending on the circumstances, of course.
Hey,
Would I give my
Risky.
life for a white man or
Hey,
a black
gracias for the
man
call. I
or an Asian
appreciate you,
man? I
cabron.
probably won't.
Ahí estamos. Buenas noches.
Go ahead and finish your thought, hermano. Sorry about that. I know it was a long call. But go ahead and I guess at the end, Risky, cálmate, cabrón. He was already trying to paint you like I wouldn't extend my arm or.
I just want to say this.
You were reaching on that one, Risky. You were reaching on that one, cabrón.
I want to just say this, that everybody has their own interpretation of life and what they view on the internet, and they can make up whatever the fuck they want. He said that I hate. I don't hate fucking people, dog, because I said in the beginning, I'm not envious of anybody, and that's the root, and that's a root of hatred. So I don't know. He can, like I said, very many people can depict me however they choose to, and that's fine. Like, that's out of my control. Why would I care?
We got Marvelous in the house. Marvelous, you're live on Chicano Street, hermano. What you got to say?
What up, my brothers? First of all, I want to send my respects to both of you gentlemen, and thank you for everything that you're doing for the raza.
That's right.
And no, man, I was calling in because Jay, right there, the last caller, bro, he always has a problem, bro, with every like Spanish comes from our people, he says, and everything that our indoctrination has taught us, we got to live by that. And he's asking really the question that he's asking, the homie right there, would you help an indigenous person before you help a white person, or would you accept the help? The thing is, bro, a way to answer that, and I think this, I don't know if I don't mean to speak for homeboy right there, but what I'm saying is, we help our people first. Of course, we're gonna go help others, but it's our duty to help our people, bro. Our people before anything. We donate clothes, help our raza. We have job opportunities. Hey, help somebody in our community, our blood, homie. Let's help them. Let's grow together, and then we'll worry about everybody else. But we need to focus on us. We're broken. We need to fix ourselves.
Yeah,
and we're the carpenters. Agree. We could do it. We could fix ourselves. You know what I mean?
That's right.
I agree.
That's right. I know a little bit in the end. He's trying to paint that picture like if you won, if you were drowning in a river and it was a gavacho's hand pulling you up, would you take it or not? That's how I was taking it, but I was
Yeah,
kind of like,
and that's common sense, bro. All around, of course, you're gonna take the help, bro. It's not like we're right here speaking hatred. It's nothing to do with hate
Doggy, why do you
and
mean to be
everything
like,
to do with
ew,
love
don't
for our
touch
people.
me?
It's all about love for our people, bro. Don't hate.
I see what he was saying though, carnal.
You take my
Respectfully, I do
strong
gotta say this.
hand.
I do see what he was saying that if you had to say "quién eres," no "quién eres," I don't know if he was referring to because again, you could say nationally, you could say the blood that pumps through my vein. If you ask me "quién eres," I am gonna say "soy mexicano,"
Mm-hmm.
but I
Yeah,
don't
that's where
know.
we come from, bro. There's no separation. Whether you wanna call yourself Chicano or whatever, Chicano's still Mexicano. You're a Mexicano, point blank. We're Mexicanos.
Yeah, and that's just me. But anyways, Vinci Marvelous, man. I appreciate you for. Dime.
Yeah, you guys have a good one. Thank you for accepting my call, bro. I appreciate you and all the listeners. My respect.
Ándale, cuídate mucho.
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches. Bye. That's right. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Let's go ahead and get some of the last questions in here in the comment. I got to turn off the banner because the phone calls are coming in. But I see what he was saying, though. As far as identity goes, we push identity here. And I don't think Risky one time he said, he told me I couldn't be all three. You know, Mexicano, Chicano, Americano. It could just be that they're just three different sets of lenses, man, that I was given. I'll say I grew up in my experiences seeing things, you know, in different tiers. I grew up the first 13 summers going to Mexico. And then when I got jumped in the neighborhood, I didn't want to go back. I wanted to be with the homies all the time. And then I grew up also with güeros with blue eyes and green eyes. So I see things differently. But if you ask me, boil it down to one thing, who are you? Pues soy mexicano.
Yeah, but me, what I'm trying to get at is more of like, you're not just a Mexicano, you know, because
Sí.
we have to accept that it's just a national identity. It's not a ethnic identity. It's not a racial identity. It's none of that. It's our ignorance that makes us believe that Mexicans a fucking race, that Mexicans an ethnic background, but it's not. El día de mañana, Mexico could fall. I've told you this before, and it could be a different country name. Are we gonna still be like, oh, so, you know, eventually, and generations are gonna keep on going, right? After our passing, maybe we will be the first generation of this a new country identity. What we know as now as Mexico could be a whole different identity. Of course, we're like, yo soy mexicano todavía, aunque la patria ya no existe, you know. But our family, as our life goes on,
1 second,
our
caller.
kids are gonna keep on, you know, living with this new country, and they're not gonna identify as Mexicano. They're gonna be like, yo, soy whatever the fuck the new country's name is. You know, they're gonna become that. That's gonna be their indoctrination into that new country for living in that country, the new country's name. So
Caller, I
Mexicano is
appreciate your
gonna
patience. We
agree.
got we in the building. Sorry to interrupt. That's why I didn't want to put him on right now because I didn't want to interrupt you, carnal. My bad. I wanted you to get your thought out. But caller, I see you called in a couple times. What you got to say, carnal?
Okay, so I have a very an intense topic. Okay,
Dale
so be a
gas.
little patient with me. All right, Mikey.
If you can
and
give the question, and then if you can listen off air for the answer, that way we can keep the calls going. I appreciate it.
Okay, so how do you feel about our gente, like our people? You know, they talk about brown pride and you know, this is for our gente, and you know, they're always talking about, you know, the how racist the widows are, you know, the whole border thing. But I always find our people very like hypocrites, right? Because they're extremely racist to a lot of third people, right? Like anybody that looks, you know, native. And you know, it's, you know, they do a lot of bad things to their own people, right? And also, like, I always find it, you know, kind of like sad, right? Because they're always complaining about the border, this and that. But you should see the our own border to Guatemala and all these other countries, man. So, like, I'm always, really mad and upset about these kinds of things, right?
Hey, I
Yeah, I
appreciate the
know what you want.
question. We're going to go ahead and answer that right now.
Okay.
Gracias, carnal.
All right.
Buenas noches.
To answer that, it's really complex, but also deep, right? So light-skinned people, like, a lo mejor tú consideras brown, right? You probably identify as brown, right?
Sí.
Right?
Not a light brown. I'm like a medium brown.
Yeah, see, a lot of the times people like yourself within the United States, or even in Mexico, be like, oh, yo soy moreno, yo soy prieto, or all these fucking terminologies. Oh, I'm brown, or it's like, I see you, bro, and I honestly don't see you as brown. I see you as a light. You can identify as a light brown, or a dark off white. Whatever you
No,
want.
I didn't say I identify as. I mean, if you were telling me to pick a shade of brown, I guess that's what I was
you
was saying.
You can't pick a shade of brown, bro, because you already are your tone. I can't pick my brown, dog.
Right.
I can't pick my colorful, like, you know what I mean? Like,
No,
me
yeah.
la gente me va a ver, güey. Este güey es prieto, este güey es negro, este güey es moreno, etc. They're not calling me, oh, eres blanquitud, oh, eres esto. You, on the other hand, have a fucking color complex going on. A lot of people do. That those people that think that they're brown, they're not genuinely brown. And then those people that identify as brown tell actual brown people like myself, oh, you're prieto, you're dark, you're this, you're not brown. I'm brown. You're fucking something else. But in actuality, I'm the real color of brown. People in my complexion is the real color brown. You can open a crayon box, bro. A kid's crayons box. Look for the color brown. Put that shit on against your skin color. You tell me if you are close to that color. I'm pretty sure that shit's gonna stand contrast against your skin, Mickey.
For sure. Yeah. I'm
I'm
gonna be like 3 shades lighter. I'm gonna be like 3 shades lighter.
And then look for something like off white. Look for something
Peach,
on the lighter
cream.
spectrum, and you'll see that you're not fucking brown. And people like yourself that have that color complex, because I know that white people don't see you as white. I know that, and also you don't feel white, or for whatever ethnically background, for whatever ethnic. But the problem about that, it causes a social issue, because now you have people with arrogance mentality of, oh, soy más bonito, soy más bonito, soy mi color de ojos, now puts people like myself in this fucking exiled spectrum, in essence. So me, I see you, I don't think you're fucking brown, bro. Like, you may think that you're brown, but no. Because if you think you're brown, what does that leave me? Because you and I are not the same. Or do you think that we are?
No, yo soy café con leche, güey.
There you go.
But you know what? It's true that even in the country of Mexico, if you look at most of the soap opera pinchy actresses, they're all have green eyes now in the Mexican soap operas, and they're all very light skinned. So it is true that they get an upper hand in society. They get more breaks, opportunities. But you're right. It's just a picture that gets painted to us, and it's an image that gets given to us when I think we need to redefine that.
Yeah, of course. And I'm pretty sure that guy that you have highlighted right there, Ben M, that fool in that picture alone, he may be a little bit more darker or whatever, but in that picture alone, he don't look brown to me, bro. He looks like a fucking regular white colored person, because white people can also tan.
Yeah, no, he said his color is puro ricochet.
You know, so
Show. That's right. You know what? One thing I also want to touch on that Risky said is I'm going to say this. I don't know if you're going to agree or you could put in, your 2 cents. Thank you again, hermano, for coming. Is I had asked one time on the broadcast, carnal, should we as mestizo, o sea, if I don't even know if you agree with that term, but a mixture of Spanish and indigenous blood, should we be leaning away from one side or the other, or should we embrace them both? And I'm going to say that I'm going to embrace them both.
yeah,
I
go
actually
for it.
started
No,
I
yeah,
actually started
to
covering
me,
up
I don't.
I covered up a lot of tattoos, right? I'm covering up a lot of tattoos, and here I got some letters that I'm covering up, and I decided to go on this side of the chest. I started it with a pinchy Spanish helmet and started doing all kinds of pinchy fucking Spanish side.
Yeah, yeah,
And on
yeah.
this side, I'm going to do a lot of indigenous side. And I say I embrace both. And no one's ever going to tell me otherwise, or no one's going to
Yeah.
tell me about the blood that's pumping through me to be embarrassed, ashamed. But even though we have guests that come on this podcast, and speak truth, speak history, speak culture, I hold to what I believe. What do you think about that?
But I mean, you have all the right, dog. You have all the right. I don't.
Even though we say slave names and we say
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
colonizers
you
and
good.
we
You
say
just.
Europeans, at the end of the day, they didn't hit Mexico. The Mexican people, however you want to say it,
Yeah, if
or
you want to embrace your Spanish
doesn't
side, and if you want to embrace your Spanish side, and you can get away with it, then sure, why not?
get away with it. What do you mean,
You know
cabrón?
what I mean?
I'm gonna get jumped, or what do you mean? What do you mean get away with it, cabrón?
I think you know what I mean by that. If
Get
you can get
away
away
with.
with it, then go for it. Unlike me, I don't have that.
Oh
I
man.
don't have that
I look
privilege,
in the
dog.
mirror. Okay, when you see me, do you see more Spanish or you see more indigenous?
I see both.
Mm.
I
Split
do
down the
see
middle.
both. Yeah,
My mother, light complected, green eyes. My father from Michoacan, fair skin like me. But my mother's mother, um, is like you said, the color crayon brown.
yeah.
And so, if our lineage comes from our mother's side, we were talking about
Not
this
all
last
indigenous
time.
people. Not all
Then,
indigenous people.
dime.
Not all indigenous people are matriarchal, bro. So the Mexicas were not matriarchal. We were patriarchal. People don't understand that. People think that just because they're indigenous people from up here in the United States, there's a misconception that all indigenous people were matriarchal. That's a fucking lie.
So, how should people base it then? Based on their tribe?
Well, me personally, I have so apparently I have Maya heritage, but I didn't grow up in the Yucatec region. I don't know shit, the customs of Maya people. My experiences of partially simulated fucking Nawa people, you know, um, has a lot of indigenous rooted stuff. Pero
How do people base it on?
I
How do people
guess from
base
what I'm
that?
trying to get at is that I don't identify as Maya, dog, like whatsoever. Like I know that I have it in me, pero no porque tengo 5% of fucking Maya. Like I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm Maya, I'm fucking Maya now. I know that I'm Maya because my DNA told me so. It's like, what the fuck? Like,
And
I
make a
grew up.
Maya IG.
Like I never grew up. I never
Make a
grew
new
up in the
Maya
Yucatec region,
IG, a
dog. Like
Maya
I
social
never.
media.
I don't know the language. I have no interest of that side of me. I don't care for it. It's. I'm more of connected towards my Nawa,
Mm.
and heavily, and yeah, it's just how I conduct myself though. People will be like, "Oh, I'm black because I have 3% or 5% or whatever percentage." But like,
That sounds like que
oh,
mala eres. No, I'm just kidding.
probably, dog. But
Que
who knows,
mala
bro? Like,
eres. She was saying que era negra,
it's
but
it's
her
what I said earlier, bro. Everybody
the
has their
family
own.
moved to Jamaica only.
A lot of people have their own conception or views about things.
Mm.
And our huevo, majority of us are gonna try to, I guess, in some aspect, manipulate the essence to feel accepted or how you feel by yourself or whatever. But a lot of the times, I try to practice what is known, on codexes wise and information and shit like that. I try to really follow the fragments, you know, and that's another thing that people don't really like. The things that I say. Cam is Indian. I totally agree.
How do we even get into
Motherfucker.
that, cabrón?
You may have some black heritage in you, but you ain't black, And that's somebody that I'm not even from the African American community, but
Hermano,
yeah.
what I want to ask your thoughts before we go on the new president of Mexico having sangre judía, being the leader of another country, which is the country of Mexico.
Yeah,
Does that rub you the wrong way, or te vale, or
distrustful, just like how it is here in California, bro. I don't fucking like it when governors don't they when like elected governors are not from California, like they didn't grow up in California. They don't, the environment, because regardless if they're wealthy or not, they are exposed to California culture. Like I'm not a fan of like some motherfucker that grew up in Massachusetts coming to California and then becomes our governor. Like, what the fuck does this fool know about our experience as Californians of being a diverse state that we are? Like, what can he relate somewhere in fucking Massachusetts when it's only black and white, while here is like fucking Asian, various. You know what I mean? Like,
so when she got taken into office or lo que sea, it looked like some indigenous people tenían plumas, humo. I don't know if they were doing a ceremony. Do you know
yeah,
anything about that? What's going on with
like a Purupecha thing, but the lady was said Nahuatl
Are they
words in
blessing
there,
her,
and then I
or what?
was
What was that about?
I
Is
don't
it a
know, bro. I'm
blessing?
not a Purupecha dog. Like I can't speak for that. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know their customs, but I know that lady said Nahuatl, some Nahuatl words, but that lady is fucking Purupecha. So not saying that she can't speak Nahuatl, but like how authentic is it?
And how did you know that she was purepecha?
She said it herself, and I seen an interview that did
Oh, okay. She did
yeah,
interviews?
they interviewed her. I think
Everyone at social media, huh?
after about that, and they asked her like, "Well, ¿qué eres? ¿Qué tipo de indígena eres?" Soy puro pecha de Michoacán y no sé qué tanto. But so qué exacto le
Yeah.
hizo? And she like, I forgot what she said, but they did interview her, and that's how I was like, "You're puro pecha," but yet you saying like some Nahuatl words in your shit, like.
Yeah.
So it's like how
What
authentic is it, and or like an aspect of the integrity of whatever custom the Purupecha people have, which I don't have a saying, but it's just kind of like questionable. Like, what the
a
fuck?
lot of people will see that and van a pensar que es como brujería. What do you think about that?
Brujerias are fucking for that shit's not real, dog. Like that shit's. I've said this before, bro. Like it's not real. It's not real because it's already it's mixed. It's entwined with Catholicism, ideologies and views, and then obviously indigenous, But
Mm.
if you're intertwining something to believe that, like how can you like I don't fear the devil, I don't fear for anything like that. Like I don't fear none of that shit, bro. Like I don't fear none of that stuff, dog. You may do, but I don't. Like my fears are something else. My fears is something else. And that brujeria shit is just
Is that a
to me
European concept?
it's
Is that a European word?
yeah, brujeria is a fucking European word.
So that's just one
But
more way of just labeling something they don't understand as something evil.
pretty
You think?
much, but it's mixed with Catholicism. So I
Mm.
don't believe that shit. I don't feel it to be real. Because I based a lot of the things of what I said, my research of like my fragmented research of Mesoamerica. You know,
People say Santa Muerte is something. It stems from something indigenous. Is that true?
I mean, they say this with what's that? Siwa Ductli or I forgot Siwa Ductli or Mictlan or Siwa Mictlan, but I don't know. Like whatever custom or rituals or whatever is practiced behind that or in front of that image is not the same as what it was originally.
Go ahead, and this is the last call we got of the night. Go ahead and just turn down the YouTube so we can hear you clear without the echo, carnal.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Without YouTube up, we can hear you loud and clear. This is going to be the last caller of the night. We're going to wrap this up at 9 o'clock, carnal. If you could ask your question or make your statement and then grab the answer off air, we appreciate it.
All right, I just want to congratulate both of y'all, man, on the platform. And I just want to say, man, everybody that's been calling, they're right. The guest you have on today, he's just on another level. I mean, he's enlightened deeply into certain things that we can't comprehend. So we're going to contradict a lot of what he says because we're raised like us out in the streets, and we were raised, oh, my chica this, you go to prison, you go do this, you spend time. You're taught that way. This man's been taught a different way. He's on a whole nother level. He's on a whole nother frequency that we don't understand, man. And that's what gets me agitated because a lot of people ain't understanding that this man is special. This man is like a Malcolm X for us because, for example, you got African Americans that their motherland is so far, they can't learn the language. They don't know nothing about the damn language. Our indigenous roots are here. They're right here, right next door. And we're not even trying to learn it. We're not even trying to accept it because we're so pushed on this Chicano movement, which I don't have a problem with. You know, but listen to this man. This man is trying to get us in tune to our culture. He's trying to get us in tune to what we are. He's right. Mexico's not us, man. It's not. Period. I don't care what anybody says. Get to know your roots, man. Get to know who you are. Doesn't matter. He's not saying you got to be Azteca. He's not saying you got to be Machica. He's saying get to know your roots, bro. Like said, people are misconstruing his words, and I kind of get offended by that because I was raised just like the rest of us, man. I just got out of prison doing 20 years, bro. And, you know, I got deeply in tune to my roots. I got deeply in tune to who I am personally. And for people to be attacking this man and not knowing what the hell they're talking about is kind of unfair because you're not playing on his playing field. You're playing on our playing field, which is a Chicano movement, which is this and that. Get in his field and understand what he's trying to say. And maybe people will understand what he's talking about. I understand what he's talking about because I'm trying to get in tune with myself, with my culture, with my people, because society is taking us away from our motherland, our earth, man. This is what he's trying to talk about, man. He's trying to talk about, look how far with all this technology we got. It's just technology's raising our kids, man. Society's raising our kids. The white man, whoever you want to call it, man, the agenda, the whatever your conspiracy in, but listen to this man, because this man is really trying to teach us. He's like our Malcolm X, if people would just give him a chance. Instead of contradicting, saying this and that, get on his level. Try to speak on his level. Try to get on his level. And then maybe you'll understand what the hell he's talking about. That's all I got to say, man. That's all I got to say. But I really want to talk to him like one-on-one because I'm really in tune with what he says. I understand what he says. This is my first time actually looking at you guys, man. I just subscribed to his channel the day before yesterday because I love his teachings, how it gets, and he tries to teach you, and he comes from the heart, man. He's not trying to judge nobody. That's what I'm trying to get y'all to understand. He ain't judging nobody. He's just trying to enlighten you. And if you don't want to accept it, fine. You don't have to. But don't judge this man saying that he's this and that, because he's not. Trust me, he's not. He's on the right path, man. All the path that if we can get on that path, our Mexican culture, or my Chica culture, whatever you want to call it, Toltec, whatever you want to call yourself, it doesn't matter. But if we do that movement together, man, we'll be a lot stronger. He's right. enlighten yourself, and then you'll learn something about yourself that you don't know, bro. Because I have enlightened myself just like him, and I know what frequency he's on, and I know what level he's on. That's all I got to say, man. My name's Ezequiel Monares. I will be starting a YouTube channel here pretty soon because our raza is being mistaught in a way that I don't appreciate because it's from the streets, bro. All our teachings from the streets is what we know.
Ezequiel, get at me on IG, and you can also get at that hermano right there. You said you started following him.
Yeah, I did. Just there for yesterday. I don't know how to get a hold of you guys or anything like that. I'm kind of illiterate when it comes to this, but I'm sorry for stalking you. I didn't mean to blow your phone up like I did, but yeah, people just got to understand this, man. That's all I'm saying, man. You know, just get on his level. Try to understand what he's trying to say instead of us trying to force our stuff on him. He's trying to teach us something different. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, gracias for the call, hermano.
Okay, thank you.
Cuídate mucho. Wow, hell of a call. What a way to end the pinche noche right there. That was deep. We were just talking about that, right? Where I was asking you about rituals. I was asking you about ceremonies. And then it just dawned on me. The light turned on. I'm like, you know what? A lot of shit is too deep. It's on another level, not even surface level podcasts with microphones and cameras. Will people even begin to fathom some of those connections?
Yeah. You know,
wow.
I want to say I always appreciate people that see beyond themselves or see beyond their environment and see where I'm trying to come at, you know. I mean, I'm not a perfect individual. You know, I'm not a well studied individual. Like I never went to university. I don't even. People always tell me, like, what language do you speak? Like, like I don't even know if I speak grammatically perfect English. I definitely don't speak grammatically perfect Spanish, and I also don't speak grammatically perfect Nahuatl.
That's right.
But I try to express myself and trying to be an inspiration, you know. And I might not be good at getting my point of view across very well because this is all new to me, you know. Having to speak a wide variety of people, of having to, you know, communicate however way that I can to those. But I do appreciate that individual calling in, and you know, I'm flattered that he gave me the Malcolm X,
that revolutionary.
you know. And
I told you in our first video, hermano, I said, you know, this knowledge, it's not being given. So automatically I subscribed. Automatically I reached out to you and invited you to the platform. Thank you again. Let's go ahead and give some final words that you have, hermano, for anyone, my subs, your subs, anyone from Chicano Street. Do me a favor, though, and subscribe and run those numbers up. Mi hermano's almost at 3K. So go ahead and subscribe over them. Last words that you have of the night.
You know, you know, discovering yourself and finding out your genuine roots and your real identity. It's a hard journey. It's not an easy one. It takes a lot of time, but I think it's like everything else, bro. A commitment. You know, how committed are you? Just like how people go to the gym. Like, I'm not committed to that, but I'm committed to my, you know. And other people are committed to the gym, and they're not committed to what my thing. You know, and that's cool. But I think discovering yourself, you definitely see the world in a different set of eyes. You know, our existence is not, como te diría, it's not something small. We may feel small. We may feel small amongst the world, or we are, however you want to view it. But we come from a long line of hardship, perseverance. You know, come out forward. You know, a lot of us have different struggles, of course. but we exist because our ancestors existed, and whatever circumstances they had to go through. I mean, if they didn't go through that, we wouldn't be here. You know,
Mm.
and just like how we we are a continuation of that. You know, maybe somewhere generations later down the road when we are deceased, like I don't know, 500 or 100 years ago, later in the future, our children are gonna. I don't know what they're gonna think, but I hope that they remember who they are, who genuinely are, and not be fooled into false identities. You know, a lot of us look for acceptance. A lot of us look for something deep, something beyond ourselves, and it's that void of not knowing ourselves. That's why we quench. That's why we thirst that. You know.
Mm. Yeah.
So
No.
yeah, that's
Absolutely.
about it. And hopefully the gentleman, you can find me on Instagram and send me a DM, and hopefully I see it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
Ezekiel, what a way to
Yeah.
end the night, man. Rissy called in. Marvelous Minds. I appreciate you. The other two callers, gente. Don't forget to subscribe over. Me, parting words. Gracias again to you, hermano, for coming on the platform. During your hibernation, you were kind of stepping a little bit away. Lo que yo te quiero decir is you benefit the raza. O sea, it's more than a blank check, like what mi hermano said. You know what I mean? Get knowledge, and all that comes with it. Because when you get knowledge, you're gonna get wisdom, gente. That's what we bring these guests on, man. They got knowledge, they got frequencies that we're not connected to. And so again, hermano, just thank you again for the knowledge. I'm gonna go back and rewatch it and everything that we talked about. To your guests that are coming on Kiyahuitl's channel, we appreciate you here on Chicano Street. And I want to say buenas noches to everyone that's inside the chat. And buenas noches to you, Kiyahuitl. I'm going to see
Igualmente.
you on the internet, hermano. Follow you. You know I do.
Gracias.
Ándale,
You guys have
cuídese
a good night,
mucho.
man.
You guys, we are out. The Wednesday night edition is over. Don't forget to hit that like. It just takes a second on the chat, no matter which channel you're watching the chat on, Kiyahuitl's channel or Chicano Street. Go ahead and just hit that like and hit that subscribe. All you got to do is hit the X on the chat, hit that like button. It helps the algorithm. It helps the channel get up there. And we got plenty more guests coming on Chicano Street to enlighten us. We're going to get something off this YouTube shit. I'm telling you, we mix a little bit of everything. Okay. Sometimes we get into cheese, man. Let's keep it a buck. Sometimes we get into cheese, man. Sometimes there's guerras and that's just normal. But at the end of the day, here we do push identity, because if we don't talk about identity, our children are going to get it from laptops. Like mi hermano Ezekiel said, they're going to get it from their phones. And just like the meme says, I was raised by OGs, and these youngsters are getting raised by IG, and this pinche telefono that just it that's a whole nother video, all right, about this telefono, and it's another world, right? But it's not reality. Reality is when I hit the X and I get back to my familia, which I'm doing right now. You guys, I'm out live on Chicano Street. Mi hermano Kiyahuitl, gracias again. Hit the like button. If you're listening podcast style, you could do the same thing at any time of the live. If you have a question about anything, you could drop a comment at that timestamp of that live, and we'll get back and we'll answer that. I appreciate you guys. We're out for the Wednesday night edition, you guys. But remember what I always say. In the end, all you got is the memories.